Hey up everyone, how are we all doing? Blues fans, welcome back, and the footballing world at large, how are you? Another great night down at St Andrews. A nervous night, I thought it would be. I got my prediction wrong. I said 2-0, we got 1-0. I tell you what, I'm so proud of these lads, and it's it's hard to come on after 7 wins in a row and kind of make an original video. But I did see things last night that I haven't seen previously. And I don't know whether that was because it was playing a championship level team or Chris Davies wasn't on the sideline. But I saw a few different things in the team last night. And I'll walk through them today, and I want to know if you guys noticed them. First of all, the main reason I was nervous last night is, the two factors I've just said. But I thought we can't really afford to start slow tonight because Huddersfield kind of do have the quality to sit back if they show up on form. Do you know what I mean? If they're trying to turn it around, they could probably see out a 1-0 for 90 minutes. So, I was happy with the lineup. As soon as I saw the lineup, I thought, that's brilliant, that is, because how many times would you see a manager and he kind of hasn't got the balls to swap the keeper out and maybe... I was happy when I saw Anderson, man. I think he's doing the shift, and it's my fault that I haven't really mentioned him before on the channel because I think he's been well every time he's come on. I just haven't mentioned him, if I'm honest. I guess I'm just awe-inspired by the other players. You kind of get this fascination with your new signings, don't you? And I think maybe I've been a little bit guilty of that because I haven't given Keshi Anderson the props he deserved because I thought he done very well last night as well. And whenever he comes off the bench, he's effective. So love that for him. I really do. I see him around where I live sometimes. He seems like a really nice dude. So me personally, I loved Allsop in goal. I thought he looked a lot more comfortable at the feet, and this is not me slagging off Peacock Farrell. I thought he looked brilliant. He didn't have a lot to do goal-wise, but in the first opening 20 minutes, we start slow, and I was very proud of the lads that we didn't concede in that time, because that would have caused real problems. I don't think that would have been quite as easy as coming back against Peterborough. Maybe I'm wrong, because Huddersfield are off form, but with the quality of players they had, depending on how they turn up, they could really put on a game. I thought Allsop looked so calm, didn't flinch. There was a few times where Bielik or Clara passed to him and he was already getting closed down. He just looked a little bit ahead of it, like he'd already made his decision what he's doing, and he don't mind taking his time, and you kind of feel a little bit more comfortable and at ease with him. So for me, look, I'm keeping Allsop in with the amount of possession we have. There's this whole thing where I think I've been guilty of it in the past, where we kind of see Allsop has missed a distribution and Peacock Farrell has missed a shot stopper. However, I'm struggling to kind of stick with that given some of the mistakes Peacock Farrell has made. So I think Allsop is my first team keeper, at least for the next few weeks. I can't remember a time he's put a foot wrong in a blue shirt. So I really like him, I'm a fan of him. I'd love to keep seeing him. However, I do have a sneaky suspicion that it'll be Peacock Farrell back in goal next week. I hope I'm wrong though. Okay, so yeah, Clara and Bielik, they are just cream of the crop for me. I know we talk about Pekin and Water as the best partnership outside the Prem, and I don't want to throw that at it, around too much because one, it's disrespectful, and two, I guess I need to watch more of the top championship teams before I really start saying this, but they're cream of the crop for me. Them two, and then the partnership of Pekin and Water in front. That's OP. It's a cheat code, that is. That is a cheat code. Who started right back last night? Taylor Gardner-Hickman. I love him. I'm fully converted now. I was a bit unsure at first because I didn't know much about him. I thought he's a centre mid out of position. I fell in love with him. I think he's brilliant, and for me, as far as I'm concerned now, he's a right back. You can bring him on and he'll do a shift. And don't get me wrong, I think when Laird comes back, I think we'll see Laird off the bench a few times and then we'll see him start a game, and then they'll probably phase Taylor Gardner-Hickman out of that right back role. But then I'm slightly concerned because you don't get into centre mid. No, Mark Leonard can't get into centre mid. So what's going to happen there? I don't know. That'll be a headache down the road that Chris Davies is probably already anticipating. I thought Cochrane, it's boring talking about Cochrane because Cochrane, it's 9 out of 10s every game for me. He's brilliant. The kid is phenomenal. The energy, the pace, the strength, the awareness, decision making. Oh, sorry, just quickly going back to Taylor Gardner-Hickman. Do you remember that one bit where he's down and he's getting pinned in at right back? He's like that. There's the corner flag. flips the ball over his head, takes it round him. I thought, don't take the piss, man. Don't take the piss. It's disrespectful at some point. But you know, that was into us for the first 20 minutes, and I think we all expected that. And you know, St Andrews, the Blues fans, we weren't singing like we usually do. You could tell it was nervy. Even to the point where around the 25-minute mark, where we kind of started to get control of the game, it was a nervy atmosphere. I felt all I saw for that was Huddersfield set up in our heart, crosses, and you know what it's like. As soon as we started to give away the crosses, I thought, well, this is the script, isn't it? This is how it goes for us. And then we turn it on after we've conceded one of these set pieces. But whether it was work on set pieces had been done with the positioning of the centre backs, or whether it was all stop in goal, I don't know. But we didn't concede from them, and that's the biggest takeaway from last night. The clean sheet, obviously only second to the win. I thought, oh man, I felt sorry for the forwards, man. It just couldn't happen, could it? I saw a comment before the game started, and one of the Huddersfield fans put, "This has got 1-0 Huddersfield, 90% possession Blues written all over." And you know, going into the game, I couldn't stop thinking about that comment, because the more we dominated and the more we missed chances, I thought, not like this. You know, when you think, if we lose, we lose. If we draw, we draw. But not like this. Don't let us batter them and then concede in the 80th minute and just, you know. So yeah, you know, May, I'm not slagging May off. He laughed about himself in the interview. I don't know how he's missed. I don't know how he's missed. To me, it looked like it was going in. A lot of people have said that it weren't going in. I thought Williamson done brilliant. That's a Puskas goal if that goes in. You know, it's harder to miss than it is to score. And he laughed and he said, you know what I liked? Alfie May said in his post-match interview, he said, that's the worst miss of my career so far, but it's definitely not the last. I love that mentality. He knows he'll make mistakes again, and you know, strikers that are experienced like it, and they put it behind them, they don't worry about it. I was so happy to see him get the goal in the second half, especially being assisted by Jay Stansfield. It kind of just lets everyone know we're cool together, you know. This is Human Son and Harry Kane. This is, you know. I thought everyone was brilliant. I'm missing someone who I haven't mentioned. No, I've mentioned Anderson. And when Hansen come on, he was brilliant as well. I thought Huddersfield, I didn't think he looked that bad. I'm not going to lie. I thought their forwards, that Lapidou was awful when he come on. I do feel for Huddersfield fans because I've seen that kid get slagged off a lot, and I thought, no, I remember him being okay. I don't remember him being dog. And when he come on, I tell you what, it reminded me of when we used to bring subs on, just no impact. And he done less running than the guy they took off, and there was a winger, I can't remember him on the side. It's kind of like a stocky black lad on the wing, and he was brilliant. I felt like he couldn't really get past Cochrane, but he was working him consistently, and you know, things were starting to open up a little bit for him as we were kind of getting a bit lackadaisical defensively maybe. But that Lapidou though he was always on the wrong side of the defender on the run. He was always between Clara and Bielik, or just behind Bielik, you know. It reminded me, his runs were like Scott Hogan's, but with less work energy. It was like, he's awful. He's kind of, there's no outlet for their centre-backs then, do you know what I mean? They're hoofing it up the field, and it's going straight over everyone and landing between the centre-backs and the keeper. But me and my mate were talking, it's not, I think now we've won every type of game, if you think about it. Like, we've won the tough one away where it's goals galore in the Wickham game. You know, it's back and forth, goal, goal, goal. We've had that type of game. We've had the dominant away game where you go out, you dominate, you beat someone in the 2-0 Rotherham game. We've had the cagey home game where you leave it to the last minute with Wickham, right? And we've had you know, the high intensity, the high build-up game in Wrexham that we've won. And now last night we had the cagey game where it's the 1-0 at home, could go anyway with a set piece. We've won that type of game. So it's nice to see the lads winning a different variety of games. You know them teams that sometimes they're giant killers and they only win against the big teams, or they only beat the shitters and can't beat people level with them. It's nice to see us winning a variety game, a variety of different manners, different tempos. The lads just look adaptable, and yes, that's what you get when you've spent 20. What we spent now, is it 2.5 billion or something like that? And you know what? It's a running joke, but every time I've seen everyone this morning. Well, that's what you get when you spend 50 million. That's what you get when you spend 75 million. That's what you get when you spend 1.26.789 billion. you know what I mean? It's like, yes, we've spent some money, but how many times have you seen teams in the past spend money? Look at Chelsea last season, for example, spent $1 billion and couldn't get the team to gel. So you've got to give some credit there. Players don't just join and everyone start playing brilliantly together. That's Chris Davies, that's a great managerial pick from the owners. You know, we're at 22 points now with a game in hand, 5 points clear. If I would have offered you that at the start of the season, you'd have snapped my hand off. If I would have said to you, joint first after 20 games, both teams on 18 points, with the same amount of games played, you'd have snapped my hand off at that. So we're overachieving. There's this whole thing where, well, of course we should be winning that. No, that's not how football works. Football has never worked like that. So let's not take away from ourselves. I've seen a lot of people saying our fans are getting arrogant, and I can definitely see that. I see our fans are getting arrogant, but I also, when you're on this side of the window, you get it. Because, you know, let them have a laugh on social media. We'll be humble later. We'll be humble later. Let's just have some fun now. Because this win streak's going to end at some point. And when it does, we'll come back down to planet Earth and we'll be human again. But just let us have some fun now. It's been a decade. It's been a decade and a half. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to give it large on social media. Talking about social media, I've never seen a team get so much hate and criticism for showing interest in a player. This whole Chris Rigg thing, the amount of hate I will see us getting because our club has shown interest, the fans don't control that. Yes, I know, we're firing back like, well, he's going to come see the project and he ain't going to want to go Real Madrid once he's seen this. I get all that, it's a good laugh. But our owners show a bit of interest in a player and the fans get the hate. How does that work? Do you know what I mean? I get it. Yeah. But it's just like, come on, man. I get it. We're the big boys in the small pond. We've got a target on our backs. But it just feels like people are just looking for an excuse to hate us now. You know, if this was someone else in League One and I'd seen them go down and, you know, they spent a bit of dollar to get back up, I think fair play to them. I think Steve Evans had the right approach. I think it's good for the league. And, you know, it's very ironic to say when it's happening to you. And that's what it comes down to, isn't it? Because it's happening to us, it's all right. I completely sympathise with that. Because if this was Huddersfield, I'd be fuming. I'd be livid. The fact that we're sat in 15th and they've spent bloody 30 million, 12 million pound striker, and they get to go straight. I'd be fuming. I'd be sorry. I'd be at them in the comments. So I don't hate them for that. I just think there's some unnecessary things we're getting hate for, which I simply don't get. Charlton away next week. Yeah, I was quite worried for Charlton away. I know we went down there in the cup and Brandon Taylor scored that brilliant goal. Was that Charlton or Leighton, wasn't it? No, that was Charlton, wasn't it? You know, it's hard to score against Charlton, believe it or not. I had to look at their past few fixtures. They're not doing great, and I kind of had them picked to like be up and around the playoffs. So kind of like a Peterborough, up and around there. They're not doing great, but you know, this is the thing. You can't look past anyone. As good as we are, I don't think we're ever guilty of looking past the team. Every time we go into a game, I'm kind of thinking, oh, you know, maybe they can do us. What's 8 on the bounce? Because I know 7 on the bounce was 1946. 8 on the bounce. When do we get to the point where it's never been done? Is it 8 or 9, or maybe I doubt it would be 10, but you know. But I think the number one thing I'm happy with last night was that the lads performed without the gaffer. I didn't know how reliant we are on Chris Davies, and obviously we're still having some influence even though we weren't in the dugout. But I was happy how composed the lads were in the latter stages of the game where it's easy to let your head drops. I tell you what, I spoke to a couple of fellas in the stadium yesterday. That whole fitness thing we've got going on, where we just knacker teams out. I think Alfie May mentioned it in his interview. It works, don't it? I don't know if that's Tom Brady's whole recovery thing, or just, you know, the training ground we have and the coaches, the staff and the facilities we have. But that does work. I didn't think it'd be as effective as it is. We're like the Nate Diaz of football teams. You know, we'll get you in the later rounds. You can have us now in the first round and give us a decent run out in the second round, but the third, fourth and fifth, we're coming out swinging. So that's what we are. We're the Nate Diaz of football teams. Look, that's all from me. I won't give you my prediction for the Charlton game. I'll do that in the pre-match one that I'll release probably like Friday night at 6 or something like that. It'd be a pleasure to hear from you in the comments, man. Oh, and also, I don't know if you're interested. I don't know if anyone's on TikTok. I'm going to start TikTok, man. So I'll put that in the description, not the description. I'll put it in the link below, and you can let me know if you want to see some. Well, I'm going to make some TikTok videos. Let me know if you like them or not. Guys, take it easy. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment, definitely comment, man. It's nice having a chat with you. And I'll see you on the next video. Take it easy, Blues.